bring you this lovely end of term, well, end of the year teacher's gift. So it has a nice lid, and then you open up and you've got 6 5x7 cards one side, and your standard that fit in a C6 envelope, 6 cards on the other side. So I'm not going to fetch these out, but I've got some that I'll show you later of the other set that we're going to make. This was a request of my daughter for the 2 class teachers that teach her son. So let me show you without further ado. So we're going to start off with a 12 by 12 piece, and we're going to cut that to 10 1/8. So it's 10 1/8. It's about a side. So 10 1/8 by 12 inches it's going to be. 10 1/8 by 12 inches. So on our 10 1/8 side, we are going to store that at 3/4 inch. Now I'm going to swap in fact at the moment I'll take my blade out so I don't make a mistake, because I think I've only got this one sheet of this size. So we're going to do it at 3/4 inch. So we're going to score that at 3/4 inch. 1 3/8. Now when you do the 1 3/8, I'm going to put it on 1 3/8. I'm going to put on, but I'm just going to pull it slightly back. That's going to allow for something, and I don't know why I've done it, but there'll be a reason behind it. I can't. Oh, I know. Yes, the reason I've done that is I'll show you when we're folding it. So I'm going to rotate and repeat now. So 180 degrees, and so again we're going to score at 3/4 inch. So that's 3/4 inch. And 1 3/8. So put it at 1 3/8, then just pull it that slight bit of room back. And that, the reason why we've done that is that when we fold this, that will just be slightly shorter, these 2 sides, and same with the other side when we fold it up, and that will make sure that those 2, when it's got its pieces on, we'll just give it that little bit of room for the DSP. That's the reason we're doing it. I remember now. Okay, and then we're going to turn it onto its 12-inch side, and we're going to go at 5 3/8. So 5 3/8. So line that up at 5 3/8 and score. Rotate and repeat. So we're going to do 5 3/8. So put that at 5 3/8. And there we go. Okay, now I've got to be careful because I realised that I cut too much off when I did it, and I think I want to be careful this time, and I think I'm going to hand cut it. I don't cut too much off, right, rather than cutting with my trimmer. Okay, so we're going to burnish with our come on, where are you? My bone folder. Well, I've got it out and buried it, I think. Right, I'm just gonna fetch another one quick. See if there's one in here. No, I will have one, honest, out here somewhere. Let me just have a search for my bone folder, because it should really. Oh, it's right beside me. I bet you could see that there. And so we're gonna fold and burnish all these sides. That's it. And the other side. So say this is, I think, Razzleberry, I think it's called. And then we want to fold up. Make sure you've got that either side equal. Fold that. And then the other side to fold that. Okay. There we go. That's it. Now I'm going to cut down the score lines. Now normally I do this before, but I'm going to make an exception today. So I'm going to cut down my score line. Am I doing this right? Let me think. That one. Oh, I'm going to cut down the middle. So let's show you. So I'm going to cut down the middle roughly. Okay, so I'm cutting down the middle roughly like that, because I want to be able to put these as my tabs. So I cut down that, and I wanted it on there, so I've got that. So I think I need to cut in there. Now I think I'm going to use my, show me just a minute. Yeah, I think that's, let me try and look on the other one. When you, yeah, I've used that. Oh, come on, brain work. I want to come in like that, and I want that to be up there. So yeah, I'm going to use my trimmer because I need to get in there. So I'm going to put it back. Remember, it was that 1 3/8 and just pull away a bit, but I can see the guide of my where I've scored it. So I'm just going to pop it back in. And what I'm one place, not gone back in properly. I'll show you in a minute on the other one. So I'm just going to put that up there. I think that's how I want it. That's it, because that wants to go round. I want to be able to use that as a tab to stick down, and that one, oh, I've done it right. I've done it. Yeah, I've done it right. So that works. So let's see, for this side I want to cut that in the middle and just double check on this, because I want that to come round there, that there. So I want it to go like that. That will work like that, and I go up there like that, and that gives us a neater edge there. Okay, so we'll do it the same as this one now. So I'm going to go in. So the very first thing we want to do, I forgot that because I did it wrong on my template, and I thought actually I need to do it. So when I did it right on the one I made, and now I was just about to make an error again because it's quite a long time since I made that. So I'm putting it back in at 1 3/8 and taking it that little bit away, and I'm just cutting between these two score lines. So I'll just show you that when I've done it so you can see. Okay, putting it between the two score lines. So I've used my blade to do it because it's easy to get it in. So can you see I've cut just between the score lines, and then we're just gonna cut down the middle now. So I'm going to cut down the middle, and this is only roughly down the middle. It doesn't matter because that's going to go up and round. And then you want to cut up these score lines. So we're going to cut up these score lines, and we're just going to wedge on either side of them. So I'm going to wedge on either side. Do the same with that one, and do the same with that one. So this is the side you want to follow. So I'm going to cut up the score line, and then I'm going to wedge in either side. Okay, so sorry for the confusion, but now I've put it right. See, I make the mistakes and then you don't have to. Okay, so your sides should both look like this. So I'll just run by that again. So I cut from, so you put your blade, the blade mark, that blade mark you want to put on your cutting edge. So lift up and put that on your cutting edge. Then you're going to cut with your mark level to that. You're going to cut down there and stop at that one. And then I cut up the middle. Okay, so it's only a rough middle. It doesn't have to be exact. And then when I'd cut up the middle, I turned it to its side and I cut up to where the score line was, and I've wedged both sides. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Did something funny on the first one, but it will all work out. It's going to work out. So as long as it works out, that's fine. Okay, now before I do the next one, I'm going to cut the pieces I need for the front. So the first piece I'm going to get, okay, I want a piece that's 7 3/8 by 2. Let's just get that off. I'll do the first one first. So 7, yeah, that's plenty. So I'm going to cut 3 1/4. So I'm going to cut 3 1/4, and then I'm going to make this 7 3/8. Well, it's a bit bent on there, so I'm just going to take that off, straighten that edge up, and so I'm going to go to 7 3/8. So 7 3/8. I want that there. So that's for one side, and then I'm going to cut 2 3/4. So I'm going to do 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut that, and then I want this one to be 7 3/8. 7 3/8. So 7 3/8. Okay. Right, now just gonna check, did I? Oh no, I didn't. Right, I didn't do that. So let's move my trim out of the way for the moment. We'll bring it back for the DSP, but let's cut this and do this so far. So now I'm going to bring these in, and I want to keep these square, so I'm going to bring these in, and I'm actually, where did I stick it in? So let me just have a look. I'm just still thinking, making sure, because one of the things that I did was I want to tuck my DSP. I tucked my DSP under, didn't I? So I tucked it under there. Okay, so I want my DSP. So I'm just going to bring this back in. Oh, I've missed a score line out. No wonder I had a score line in there and I've not put it in, have I? No, I haven't. Right. So I've got to score down the middle of this because, well, yeah, I have. That's got to have a score line down to be half that. So let's see. So I'm going to remove my blade because I can't mess up now. And just going to measure this because I need to get this in half. So in here we've got 1 1/4, so I need to do that at 3/4 of an inch. So let's see, move that out of the way. Oh, sorry, it's because I have made this a while back, and so I've got to do 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to have to do it on that side. So what did I have that at? And I'll just add my 3/4 of an inch onto that. Is that right? Let's just make sure. No, 1 1/2. No, I don't want. Oh, nearly made a mistake. Sorry about this. 1 1/4 is not, because that's 8, 9, 10. So I need it 5/8. Phew, 5/8. What am I thinking? 5/8 need to be added on. Sorry. Okay. So as I say, I make the mistakes so you don't have to. So I will put this measurement in. So what I'll do is in this, when I've done 5/8 of an inch, I need to add another 5/8 onto that. So that just makes it, come on, 5/8 will make it another one, so that should make it 6. No, that can't be. Yeah, I think that's right. So it should make it 6. Let's see. Yes, that's right, 6 inches. So when I score it, I should have scored 6 inches. So that should have been 5 3/8, and then repeat and score at 6 inches to make middle. Okay, so that should be 6 inches. Oh dear, what a Johnny Wop. Okay, so there we go. Get that in 6 inches. So there we go. That should be your middle now. Okay, and of course it's your middle because it's 12 inches there to there. Oh, shoot me. Right, and because we want this to be going backwards, I am going to just going to make sure that this folds backwards. Going to put that level. Needs to go level. Come on, level. In fact, I'm going to bring back in my trimmer now, aren't I? So I'll get this right in a minute. Come on. Hope it's not going to be one of them days. So I'm putting it back. You know, you've seen me do cards, how I get the middle point by putting that together. I'm going to do that now to make sure that that is in my middle. Okay, so that when it's together, those two are level there. So you saw me do, I scored it at 6, but just doubly make sure I put my 2 ends when I folded it in half together like that, and then have done my crease down. So that will bring my box being able to fold backwards. Right. Oh dear, I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue these in now. So we're going to make sure that we bring these in together, and that will hold there. Okay, so we want to bring that in. Yeah. So that's going to fold on there. So they're gluing a bit different because of how I've done it. Oops. Make sure it goes in like that. That's it. So we're leaving the bottom. Okay, so it's springing out at the moment. This I've done a little bit different on that side, but it will still work the same, so I'm not worried about it. Okay, so what we're doing on these edges, because these are the two edges you've got, so I'm gluing, if you glue the outer one, and then I'm bringing it in and making sure that we've got a square corner like that, and that will bring him again to be able to do that. Okay, so just glue those in. So again, I'm going to put glue on the outer tab, bring it into the middle one. So I glued the outer tab, bringing it in the middle one to get it square, and then we're bringing it in again so that that will be able to go like that, that will be able to go like that, and then that will fold up as your box. You'll see the reason why I'm not gluing these down at first, because of what I'm going to do later. Right, one side we're going to use, we're now going to put this on, that will be the same length as your box. So I'm going to glue this side. Now how I do this is I'm going to turn it upside down. So this is the piece that I'm going to glue, and I'm using, so if you can see, I'm using this as a template now. So that's how much glue I need to stick on down there. So I'm going to do that there. I'm going to put the glue just on there, and then I'm going to do the same at the other side. So I'm putting them at the bottom. I see how much glue I need to stick on, so I'm putting the glue there, and then I'm going to turn this around now, so that I'm going to make sure it goes to the edges, so this is where we want to get it square now. So I'm going to hold it up, because I want, what I'm looking for is this has got to go exactly level. So this is helping me to get my box square now. I've got to get that exactly square, and there, exactly square. Okay, and you will see now we've got a hole at the bottom, right? And we're going to do the same at the other side. So I'm going to reverse it. So I'm sticking my rough edge sides, as I'd call them, that has got the burrs on. I'm putting it on top of my side bits, so I can see exactly how much glue I want to stick on. Okay, and I'll do that exactly the same at the other side, so I can see how much glue, how far I can go, and then turn it back, and I'm going to put this on here, and the same on the other side. So I'm wanting to make sure that it's exactly at the bottom, and it's bringing the edge exactly level with this. So this is the important bit to keeping your box square. So it's going to the bottom, making it square there, and then you concentrate on the other side as well, making sure it's to the bottom and it's there. So making sure, and then that will come off the bottom a bit, so I've got to make sure. So keep working it while your glue is, and then that will bring in there for your box at the bottom, and that will bring in those like that. So there will be the box there. Like that, so that will give it a square. Now, you'll see this is open, but this is going to get closed when we stick the DSP in. Because I didn't want to make this too bulky, sticking the DSP underneath and gluing it on, it works a treat. Okay, so my DSP now, I don't know whether I'll do the inside first. So of course this is 7 3/8, so I'm going to make that a 7 1/4. So I'll write it down as I go. So the front piece, so the DSP that I want is going to be, the width is going to be 7 1/4 by 3 1/8. Okay, so I want that. Right, just going to get my DSP now. And I'll have a look whether this is cut to size or whether it's cut the same size as the lid. Let's have a look. So it is, we want it 7 1/4. Is it 7 1/4? It just looks a fraction over 7 1/4. So I'm going to leave that because that might be for the lid. So, ow. Just let me see. No, I think I'll. Let's see. No, I won't. I'll go with my original. No, I'll not use that. I'll save that for a minute. Okay. So I'm just getting some more of that DSP. There we go. So I'm going to cut this 7 and right that side best. Right, so cutting this 7 1/4. I said, didn't I? Yeah, 7 1/4. So 7 1/4. I'm going to cut it. Let's put that on there. 7 1/4. Make sure that that's okay. 7 1/4, and we want that by 3 1/8. So that's 3 1/8. Oh no! Just stopped in time. Phew. Right now, because of the way I've done it, I've got to allow for the bottom and I haven't allowed for this. So this helps you see my design processes and the way I think, so it can help you in your design process. Now, what I'm wanting to do, the DSP's got to go along here. So my DSP is going to tuck in here and then go over the top and glue down. So I've got to allow that. And I said that was 5/8 of an inch, didn't I? So I want to add 5/8 of an inch onto my 3 1/8. So 5/8. Okay. So I've got 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 and 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5. Now it's going to be, so that is 3 7/8. So it's going to be 4 1/4 by 3 7/8 pulled back. Okay, so you just want, the reason being that this will make it tuck better. So we're going to have that 3 7/8, but I'm just going to pull it back only very, very fractionally. Okay, so it's only a little tiny bit away. Then I'm going to score that at just under 5/8. So I'm just going to score that under 5/8. So I'm doing 5/8 on the other side and I'm going to score it. Okay. and you'll see now what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to bend that, and then what we're going to do is I'm going to tuck this so it's like that, and this is going to glue down on it, and that will be perfect then. Okay, so what we're going to do is the first thing I'm going to do, let's just get rid of those bits there, is I'm going to glue the bottom bit. So my 5/8 bit that's just under, I'm going to glue all along that. Okay, and I'm going to make sure when I'm putting it down that I'm giving it an equal increment, and make sure it's going to there. So that's got glue all along it, and then I'm going to put glue all on this bit now, and you'll see it will take shape and you'll understand what I'm doing. So don't put it on the after the fold, so don't put it on after that fold. Make sure that you've got equal increment. Amazing. In fact, I'll do it on the top. So I'm making sure I've got equal increment all the way around there. And this, I'm just going to re-put a bit more glue on it. So this, have a wee bit of glue on it, and then we're going to push that there, and then just go in with your bone folder and just go along that, and you'll see now that we've got that going off there now. Okay, I've got that there like that. Should have done that. I'm just going to make that bit smoother with the bone folder. And you'll see then in the bottom, can you see I've got a white lining at the very bottom now. Okay, so we're going to do this the same at the other side, and it will take shape for you. So what we need to do is we're going to put so we'll need our DSP. We'll need it 7 1/4 by, so we've got to do 2 3/4 plus our 5/8, which if you add them two together is going to make 8, so that is going to be 3 inches. So it's just going to be under 3 inches, so that's 7 1/4 by just under 3 inches. Okay, so I'll show you again. So we've got our 3 inches, so just make sure we've got our 7 1/4. That's not our 7 1/4 side, that's our 7 1/4 side. So we're just going to go in at 3 inches, and I'm just going to pull back. It's just such a fraction. So there is my 3 inches, look, and I'm pulling back just a slight bit, not even a 1/16. It's not even a 1/16, it's just pulling it slightly away. Okay, and then I'm going to do my 5/8 of an inch. So do my 5/8, but I'm again pulling it by the same amount away from the 5/8 of an inch. Okay, oh, that's why I put the wrong blade in. Thought it was doing a bit fuzzy. Okay, and then we're just gonna, let me just move my trimmer again. We're just gonna fold that up. Okay, so let's get rid of some burrs on here because I've put that on there. So we're going to do exactly the same. In fact, I'm going to do it the opposite way this time. I'm going to get this before you fold. So we're going to glue all of this before you fold. So don't put any glue after you fold. So I'm just going to get this all done here. picked up a bit of hair. I don't know where that's come from. And let's get rid of that fluffer because we don't want a bump in the paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that this is exactly in the middle. So what's happened here? Oh, what's happened there? Something's gone wrong there. Let's did I not add it on properly? So 5/8 of an inch. Oh dear, I didn't add it on properly. Start again. So let's do. That's not wrong with the calculation. Okay, so let's put in 2 3/4. So 2 3/4, and I'll count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, and just pull back slightly. So I'll tell you again what that measures. Sorry about that. So this should be 3 3/8, just pulling back. Honestly, some days, you know, it's just like that. So I'm just pulling back from my 5/8 there. So let's get my 5/8, 5/8, and I'm just pulling. 5/8, 5/8, just pulling back that fraction. And again, I'll do it again. Some days I have these days. Some days everything goes perfect, and then other days I have some fun. Okay, so I'll start again. So we are going to put glue only on this bit. Okay. And I'm going to line this up exactly. That's better. So line that up. So you'll feel where the actual fold is. So that's good. And then I'm just going to put glue now on this bottom bit. So on that bottom bit there. And that I'm just going to put, I didn't do this in the other, but just where these tabs are, I'm going to put some glue in there as well. Okay, so that will hold it on there, hold it on that, and then tuck that in there. And then you have to put this, go in there. So, and they will come together. Tuck your bone folder down in the bottom. Make sure it's going on there. So I just missed that tab. So I'm gonna try and pull that little bit because oh no, that's all right. That's okay. I'll just put some back on there. Right. And bring it back up. So push that down again. Okay, and that's like that. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that, and so that comes down like that, and I'm just going to push it together with my hands a few seconds to get that glue really sticking there. And really going down and out. Smooth that. Okay, so that has to go like that. Hold it so that brings together like that. Right, now let's decorate the outside. So we have got your 5 3/8. So let's do that. Might be the top. Have a look. So we have got 7 3/8. So we want our 7 1/4. So I'm just going to cut a strip 7 1/4. I want it facing. So I'm going to do 7 1/4, 7 1/4. There we go, 7 1/4, and then our what did we store at? Let's have a look. 7 1/4, and we did 5 3/8. So I want by 5 1/4, 5 1/4. So we want 2 of these, and another 5 1/4. Just double check. Yep, 5 1/4. There we go. So we're going to glue those now onto each of our. So decide how you want your pattern, whether you're happy with the pattern. I think I'm going to go for that way up. So, and it's good to have the box in position so that if you're using directional paper, if you put it in position, then you can see how it's going to look when stood up. So if we just do equal increments all the way around, and if you get those, I just stick my nail in underneath as I'm gluing. So I just stick my nail under there, and that tucks any of those fluffs. Okay, and I'm just going to put my hands in to go over to make sure that's down. So again, that's how it's going to stand up. I'm happy it looks like that. So I'll stick my glue on the back. So what I did is I did a mixture of cards. Some I have actually demonstrated and showed you. Others, oh, I want it that way up. Okay, so just going to make sure that that is equal increments all the way around. Okay, there we go. And again, just going to put my hands in to do that. Right, so I'm just going to check on what I did do. Yeah, I did 1/2 inch strip. So then I'm going to bring in, so I want some 1/2 inch strips. And shut that up. Now, tip for you, if your trimmer is cutting a bit fluffy, see how I'm using a piece of card. Can you see how much is coming out? Now that helps to make your card fluffy. So if you clean your track by getting a piece of card and just running down, and then of course to sharpen your blade a bit more, run some tin foil over some tin foil several times. Right, so I need that was what did I do, 5 1/4, so I want 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut this strip to 5 1/4, so 5 1/4, and then I want this to be 1/2 inch, so I'm just going to cut 2 1/2 inch strips. So that's going to be 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch. Okay, I'm going to keep those, move that out of the way, I'm going to keep those in position. So I'm going to stick one on the left, my first one on the left. So I'm just going to think, oh yeah, that was. So first on the left, make sure I've got equal increments all the way around. Remember, I just, whoops, make sure got that going there, and just run my finger down to tuck those bits in, and then put this one this one made the rest of the flower, so I'm going to do that. There we go. And that's going to go on that side. Okay. Again, running my finger down that. Putting that down because I just go back in there. Make sure that those two. Oh my God. Okay. Just want to pull that down a little bit more. Not quite happy. I'm just going to re-glue that because I wanted it fractionally down. It didn't come where I wanted it to come, so we'll stick that on again. That's it. Didn't come down far enough, so keep matching that. And that's gone too close to the edge a minute. Yeah, I think that's fine now. Okay, so there's the pattern lining up there. That's good. And then we're going to do the same with the other side. So I'm just going to get an odd piece that I might have. Yeah, I've got one there. That'll do. So it can match pattern. So that was 5 1/4, I think I said, didn't I? Yeah, 5 1/4. So 5 1/4, and then cut 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do it this side again. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, and then another 1/2 inch. Set 1/2 inch. Okay, don't let it go wonky. Okay, so I'm keeping them in position, and then I'm going to put this one on my left. There we go. Just make sure that's lining up. Run my nail down that to get rid of those, and then put this one. I've got my trimmer in the way, haven't I? Sorry. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that does follow on. I thought that didn't follow on then, but it does. Okay, now I'm going to weight the card down in it now. See, I'm going to clean my track again because it's got a lot of fluff in it again. Seems quite fluffy coming out. So I'll just quickly show you what I have done, and then you'll see. So let me show you the so these are the 5x7 cards. So that's for a boy, that's for a girl, and then that's for a male, and then female, and then another female and another female. So I think I'm gonna have the male showing, I think, so I can put those in. So the largest side, which is that one, I'm just going to let these go in. So that's 6 5x7 cards that slot in that side, and then the 6 C6. So I've got that one, that one. So that's say that one like that, and then a male one, and another male one, and then that can be a children's card, and another children's card, and another female one. And then these fit in this side. Now these I decided to kind of stagger, so I went up and down a bit with these, so give it a little bit less bulk on some of them. So took the envelope and some going that way. So I did it like that, and then they close together like that. So now we're going to make the lid. Okay, so for the lid, now I've got my little bit of paper somewhere. So I want to start off with a piece that is 5 and 9. Oh, I've got 2 there. There we go. I don't want to be cutting 2. So 5 and 9/16. So what I suggest you go to is 5.5. So if you go to 5.5 and then see that little mark beyond, that's the 16. So once you get to 5.5, so there's your 5.5, and you just go that one little mark over, and that makes you 9/16. So let's get to that, 9/16. Okay, cut that at that. Oh, I've just messed that one up, because I want to start off with a piece that is 11 and 11/16. Oh dear, 11 and that makes it 9. 9. What am I doing? Oh, think, come on. So one under that would be 10/16. That's your 12. That's your 10/16. That's your 12. So pulling back, right. 11/16, because 16/16 make 12. So you've got to pull back. So that would be 11 and 12/16. So you want to pull back. So you're putting it at 11 3/4, and you're going to pull it back 1 marked, and that will make you 11/16. My brain today. Which is exactly the length of your card. Okay. And well, it is this card anyway. And then we're going to 11 and 11/16. Just let me make sure. Yeah, 11/16 by 5 and 9/16. So 5.5, push along 1. Okay, and then we're going to cut. Phew, it's a good job I have that spare piece, isn't it? Because I've messed that up big time now. Right, now what we're going to do is we are going to score it at 2 1/8. So I can't mess this up, so I'm taking the blade off. And we're going to score this at 2 1/8 and 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do 2 1/8. 2 1/8 and score. I'm just a bit frightened now. I'm just going to doubly make sure. Where's my lid gone? I can't afford to go wrong on it. Oh yeah, because that's only 1.5 in there. 1.5. 2 1/8, 2 1/8, that makes it 4 1/8, 5 1/8. Yeah, I think I'm right. Right, 2 1/8 all the way round. So we'll do 2 1/8 all the way round first, and I can make sure that I'm happy with that. 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and 2 1/8. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And then I'm going to score at 1/2 inch all the way round. I was a bit dubious, but I'm all right. Okay, so it is 1/2 inch. Yeah, so then 1/2 inch. So I've taken it back out. I'm going to do 1/2 inch all the way round now. 1/2 inch all the way round on that side. And 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've done that on all sides. So I'm going to cut now. Which way round did I do? What have I done with the lid? This is so annoying. I've taken the lid off and then made it disappear. Here it is under everything. Okay, so where did I do? I did that one, comes in there. So I'm gonna, let's see, which way around do I do it? That way brings it into there. So going to cut down. Let's do it. I'm going to cut down the second score line from the end, second score line from that end. Okay, so we are going to do on your 1/2 inch, your second score line in, I'm just going to wedge. Okay, so can you see? There's the score line, I've wedged it in. Right, now we don't want any of that, so I'm going to cut that off. Ooh. Okay, get off. I'm going to do that. Then I don't want this big piece, so I'm going to cut approximately, it's just over 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut that off. So we've done the first score line, and it was the second score line in, and I've just cut to the right hand side and wedged it. Then I've taken a good chunk of it off and only left just over 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to turn it round and do exactly the same. So the second score line in, to the left of it now, I'm going to wedge up. We don't need any of this, so I'm going to cut that off. Then I'm going to cut this just over 1/2 inch. Okay, and the bit that we've got left, I'm going to cut in to either side to give it a wedge like that. Now we're going to repeat that on the other side. So I'm going to second score line in, and to the left of it I'm going to wedge in. Then I'm going to cut all that narrow bit off, don't want any of that. Then I'm going to cut up the next score line, and then we'll cut roughly even about 1/2 inch. I'm going to cut down the next score line, we can wedge these two, so that side and that side. I'm going to turn it round, and this time I'm cutting to the right of the second score line, cutting that bit off, and then I'm going to turn it back and leave about 1/2 inch roughly of that on. Okay, right, now before I do anything, I want to actually do this part here. Now, have I actually done DSP for the top? So I want 7 5/16. So I'm going to see if there's 7 5/16 here. 7 5/16. That's just slightly under. Let's see if this one is. No, that's the same size. So I'm going to use this. So I want 7 5/16. Is that right? Yeah, 7 5/16. So if you go to 7 1/4, so 7 1/4, and then just push it one along, that will give you your 5/16. And I'm just gonna, no, that's because I've not done it 7. I hope you were yelling at me. 7 5/16. It's best to measure twice before cutting. And I'm just going to absolutely make sure, because I'm running out of this DSP now, just going to make sure that 7 5/16. Yes, it is. So I'm all right. 5 7/16. I'm all right. Phew. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that. Let's look for my better blade. And 16s, and cut that. Leave that. Right, so now I'm going to turn this on its side. I'm hoping this is going to give me this, this and this. So I want, I've cut the right length. I want 1 1/2. So I'm going to cut the first one at 1 1/2. So that's going to be at 1 1/2. Keep that in position. Then the top, I want 1 3/16. That's right, 1 3/16. So that's 1/4, and take it back 1. And I want that. Okay, and that. And I'm going to keep it in position because that's going to be my top. And then the other one was, what was it? 1 1/2. 1 1/2. Okay, 1 1/2. 1 1/2. Okay, 1 1/2. Okay, so I'm going to keep those in position over here now because I've got those, and I'm just going to fold and burnish all my score lines. Now this one here, give it the best possible crease you can give it, and do it on both sides. Okay, and the same again at the bottom. So you want to give it the best crease you can give it, and on the other side. Okay, then we're gonna fold these in and burnish them all, and then this edge bit we're gonna give that a really good crease, and on the other side a really good crease. Then we're going to do the same on the other. So we're going to give this bottom one a good crease, and this one we want to give crease on this side and on the other side. Okay, now we're going to put the middle one, so we've got these in position here, and I'm going to put the middle one on before I do anything else. So this, ignore those two little bits, this is going to be your lid top, so I'm going to put this one on. So that will go there. That's going to be in the middle. It's just easier if you put your paper on. And in fact, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to put it all on. So I'm going to put this on as well. I think I'll risk it. Oh, it's flat. So there we go. And then this one over here. Okay. Put that down there. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is just check these. So I'm just checking to make sure that these two do not cross each other. If they do, which I'm thinking, yeah, they do a little bit. I'm going to take a little bit more off. So I'm going to just take a fraction off this side and a fraction off this side. And then I'm going to test again to make sure before I put them together. So make sure. Okay. I'm just going to take a minute bit off. I'm just feeling that they're just a fraction too big, so I'm just going to adjust it, and I think that will be fine now. So I'm going to do the same on here. I'm going to go by that. That should be enough off now. So it probably is about 1/2 inch you want to leave on. Okay, I think that'll be fine. Right, so now we're going to glue these end bits. I think I'll glue them both together. So, in fact, I normally wedge these, don't I? But I haven't done. Let's hope we're going to be all right. So I'm lining up. There, I'm lining it up. Both ends. Lining those up. And I'm going to line these. Now just put that over there. It does help sometimes putting it on the box. there. That's going to slip on all right. That's fine. I'm not bothered about that. That's fine. So, and then I just we'll go for the end bits first. So if you just put some glue on the end bits, move those out of the way and tuck it down. And what I like to do is get that bone folder in again and just keep going over that. Hold it down. Just put a little bit more glue on there. Hold that down in place. Might just have to hold it for a few minutes. And the same with the other side. So hold that down and just go back in there with your bone folder. That's it. And then just bring these two outer ones in. Bring that one in. And then let's do this one as well. And I just kind of keep going round it, just the sides as well, there and there, and then just try it on the box. Come on. It will fit in, I know you will, because you just did a minute ago, so I know you will. Come on. That's it. So it's a nice tight fit, which I like it, so it won't slip off. But it goes, as time goes on, as you fetch it off and off, it gets looser and looser. So I like to have a really tight one to start with. And you can look at your pattern. I've had it on one way, so now I'm going to put it on the other way, because sometimes one of the pattern I found matches better. So, ooh, can't have that little bit there. That's it. Just coming up, so I've just gone back in and stuck some glue on it. Now I don't know which way I've tried, but I'll just pop it on for now. So there and there. So I don't know whether that looks better. I'm not going to try it both ways again. I'll wait till my glue's better dry. Okay, but we now need to do these side bits. So what did we do? The top was, let's see, we've got a little bit here. The top, where's my trimmer? Was, it was, let's see, 1 3/16, so 1 1/4, pull back 1, okay, and then the length of it coming down was what? The length it was just 1.5, wasn't it? 1.5. I'm going to let the flower be at there. 1.5. So I'm just going to add that 1.5. Just cut that off, and that should just stick nicely there. Yes, it does. Just going to get rid of my fluffy bits. Okay. Okay, so that will be on the top there. And just make sure that you've got equal increments there. Okay. And again, that was 1 3/16, so put it at 1/4, pull it back 1 little mark, and then it was 1.5, wasn't it? So just cut that off. And then just let's pop that on there. So decide which way around you want your piece. I think I'll have mine like that. So we'll just pop that in the middle there. There we go. So there you go. That's inside it, and the lid, and there's the finished box. So I hope you like that. Think projects like this do take a long time to make. You've seen me make it from start to finish. I didn't do any prep work, because if I'd have done the prep work then filmed the video, it would have been too much for me today, so I've had to do it on the go. So thank you very much. Thank you for dropping by. Stay safe, stay well. Bye for now.